No doubt aware, we have been a little busy, which is why we've been so quiet. Minister for the Land Management, the Minister for the Interior, the Minister for the General Operations, the Minister for Health and Fire Therapy, and to a degree because of two directives, well, one directive and the sub-directive, we've been busy around these parts. As you will probably listen to or reading the transcripts from the last briefing that was done, my imperial government has been investigating what's known as phyto-remediation. You have a few folks that have finally begun to open their mouth about this hazmat event, well, hazmat events 1 and 2, since there's 2 oil rigs that's actually leaking in the Gulf of the Amexem, not one. One, again, 12 miles from the mouth of the river itself, and the other one, the one that BP is responsible for. BP is not responsible for the other one, but anyway, we have been looking at various ways to get our hands dirty in the efforts to clean up this mess that happened on our territorial waters. As Moors, it's not enough to play ghetto CNN. As Moors, it's not enough to just talk about the problem. You have to physically get your hands dirty, getting in to make sure that the work is done safely and appropriately. We can't rely on anybody else to do this, since folks are doing more damage. You got all these plumes, like at least 7 fires where they're burning oil, and all that material that's being released into the atmosphere. Not helpful. We already are seeing issues with folks in the respiratory concerns to begin with. We have to take a look at other potential threats, seen and unseen, known and unknown. XMI parts per billion of benzene or naphthalene or whatever else might be in the dispersants or in the oil itself that gets into the air, that gets into topsoil, that gets into rain, however it gets into folks' systems, whether it be on large scale or small scale, whether it just be in the south central or the southeast portion of North-Amexem or elsewhere. We were looking to find ways to address this matter, and I can't say to you right now definitively that we are definitely going to go with phyto-remediation, although I will say to you it's a high probability that we're going to do just that. I cannot give you the coordinates on the 3 locations that we are honing in on. One of them we've already made public, but I don't have the coordinates off the top of my head for that one, but there are 3 primary locations we're considering deploying small or medium-sized phyto-remediation operations. Right now we're working through doing our homework, looking at what types of plants are good for being hyper-accumulators of these toxins from soil, water, or air. You have different types of plants that work on different types of crude. So we had to take a look at what's most appropriate, which we're currently doing right now. The Minister for the Land Management has already authorized particular things to occur. Therefore, as a consequence of that, since he has managerial control over particular operations, the ESA Out Commander, which happens to be the Minister for the Interior, he has supervisory control. And there's a party who approached us who may potentially be contracted as a site engineer, or at least site manager at the very least, for one of the locations we're looking at for the phyto-remediation. If things go according to what we think they could do, there's a series of questions that we have compiled that have to be answered in written form. And once we get the answers back from the particular party and particular assets that we're dealing with, we may be able to come to a legitimate position to govern from. And once I have that down, I will dispatch an away team into the area with proper safety materials in place. They will get in, do the last of the fact-finding mission directly on the ground, bring that data back so we can finalize particular matters, and then we will proceed from there to put together things for that particular AO, or whichever one we're going to go into, because there's 3 of them that we may look at. Once we get in there, we know exactly how long they will be deployed, what they're going to do, and we know that with phyto-remediation, this is more so for, it's like an ocean farm, basically. Basically, these are plants that are put together in the biohaven, that's the term it's called. And we're going to see how many years it's going to take us to do some real good here. Phyto-remediation has been used to take other toxins out of waters that normally would take 10 years to do under current technologies. Biohavens have taken it out in less than half the time. Now, there's going to be a lot of oil here. So we are clear on the fact that this is just something that we know how to do that's safe, that will do a portion of our very huge work. I'm not going to sit here and tell you this is going to knock out the whole problem for all of our babies like tomorrow and on a massive scale. No, this is a one-prong of a multi-prong approach that we're looking to take to address that hazmat event of BP spilling all that oil into the waters, which is now threatening the lives of all of our babies. So for the Moors who are listening, who you talk to, let them know there are viable options, and we have to figure out how to come together and make this thing work for the benefit of everybody. So I ask you to strongly consider